I will discuss starting positions in Empire, starting with, of course, the British, first in the selecting screen. And I rate this an easy. The scale will be easy, medium, hard, very hard, as newer Total Wars do. And I'll give my reasons. I'll divide them into army, navy, diplomatic situation, and economy. And for Britain, all of these are practically maxed out. Maxed out navy, 4-star army at 5, maxed economy, maxed diplomatic situation with plenty of allies, and a safe navy and being an island nation. You've got plenty of armies dotted about. And your economy is also quite good as well. I would also rate France a medium, or an easy, somewhere in between. It's not quite as easy as Britain, given, you're not on an island. You still have a 5-star army, 4-star navy. It's less good than the British one. I also give France a 5-star economy. That's actually more money than Britain does, but they do have less ports, so it's harder to just spam Indium in. And I give them 4-star diplomatic situation. Obviously, you do have a lot of possible enemies. Westphalia, Württemberg, Savoy. Those are all minor. You can take care of them. But Austria, Prussia, United Provinces, and the British often will come after you. I would rate Austria a medium. Your army is quite formidable, although it's nothing too special. I'd give the army 4 out of 5. The navy is a 0-star out of 5. Well, I guess I can't give 0 stars, so I'll give you 1 star. But yeah, you don't got much of a navy. I would say your economy, it's decent enough, but you can't exactly make that many Endermen. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. And diplomatic situation, you have lots of possible allies and lots of possible enemies. You do have your alliances with the United Provinces and Great Britain, as well as minor German states. But you also have lots of possible adversaries. The Ottoman Empire, Poland, and Prussia. Poland, the Ottoman Empire are not too likely to be a problem, although Poland could cause more, but the Ottoman Empire is extremely disorganized. Prussia could also be a really big problem. I'd say your diplomatic situation is 2 out of 5, but it really depends on what difficulty you're playing on. If you're playing on hard, you can expect all 3 of them, maybe even Venice to go after you. Playing on easy, yeah, ain't no one declaring war on you. United Provinces. This is the first one I'm gonna rate a hard. You've got a decent navy. I'd rate it about a 4 out of 5. It's pretty decent. Your economy, despite being, the preeminent trade power of Europe, it ain't the best. If this one port, Rotterdam, is blockaded, you are going bankrupt. So your economy is not as good as it might seem. I'd only give it a 2, maybe a 3. Your army, likewise, it's not bad, but it also isn't good. I'll give it a 3, maybe a 4, if you're being adventurous. Most importantly, though, your diplomatic situation is not too good. You have possible allies in smaller German states. You have allies in Great Britain and Austria. But you also have extremely strong enemies. You can probably overcome the Spanish in Brussels, but the French have an entire full stack chilling in France at the start of the campaign, so you might struggle to deal with that. There's also lots of potential traps you can fall in. Like, these pirates will be extremely annoying to you if you don't take care of them immediately. So your diplomatic situation, I'd only rate it 2 stars. Not looking the best. Oh boy, Spain. I'd rate Spain very hard. Despite, you know, having lots of regions, that's not particularly helpful. Let's start with the army. The army is actually quite decent. But it's nothing too special. You have guerrillas and such, but they're nothing too special. Your army is most importantly spread out, although your army's kind of spread out. You've got stuff here, stuff everywhere, but that's not exactly a good thing. Your army, I'd rate the Spanish army 3 out of 5. Navy, galleons. Okay, well, this guy's very bad admiral, but galleons, kind of OP. Not gonna lie. They're kind of OP. But you're also kind of, you can't make that many. They're also expensive, so that kind of balances them out. Your starting navies are rather weak, given the fact that you're defending so many things. There are pirates here that you can't, well, I mean, you do have a 5th rate, which is true. But there's pirates that outnumber you there. Your fleet just is not in the best of shape. Moving on to the economy. 3 stars. Average, that's what I'd say. Nothing too special. And diplomatic situation. This is what makes it very hard, okay? Knights of St. John probably aren't going to declare war, but, you know, they're small. Depending on what difficulty you're playing on, you may be declared war on by the Italian states. Genoa may declare war on you. Savoy and Venice often will declare war on you. So your Italian holdings, depending on what difficulty you're playing on, but really all difficulties, struggle. You might lose them. You might lose Flanders to the United Provinces. I mean, it's somewhat defendable. You could upgrade it into a military governor's encampment, train stuff, but if the United Provinces are charging in, that's not going to help. In the Americas, Cherokee nations, you can defend Florida quite easily, but they're still another threat. The British are another threat. You do have the French, but they aren't gonna help with the entire thing for some reason. They just don't seem to be that helpful. So your diplomatic situation is a solid 1 star out of 5. Have fun. Have fun. Alright, Prussia. I'd say Prussia would be a medium. It's not too hard. Your army's a 5 out of 5. Solid. Some of the best line infantries. You can train 4 units at once in Berlin at the start of the game. You have so many armies as well. Navy, 1 star. Don't got a navy. Can't make much of a large navy either. Economy, surprisingly, given the fact that you have a quite decent army. Then again, your army is quite decent only because it's all gathered in one spot. It's pretty good. I'd rate the economy a 4, despite the fact that, you don't have that many trade ports. Diplomatic situation, it's a 3. Hanover might go after you, probably not. Sweden will probably, if they are strong enough, will go after you, but if they're strong enough, keyword. Declaring war on Austria can make you fall into plenty of traps, as in, like, UK shows up and takes Berlin. Yeah, you don't want that to happen on accident, so it's something to be wary about. I can also declare war on Poland directly because Russia, but you do have Saxony here, or Courland, if you're adventurous, that can declare war on. But you'll actually get a diplomatic penalty because for recently breaking deals because something history if you declare war on Saxony, so that's also to watch out for. But you still have plenty of possible allies. You could possibly get an alliance with other Protestant nations. You could align with maybe France and Spain. You could align with Russia. Even depending on what happens, Sweden could be friendly to you. Or the Ottomans. Poland, Lithuania. Oh boy. This one's a difficult campaign, gotta say. Your army, very lacking. I'd only rate it at 2. It's not complete potato. You can do some stuff with what you have. You can, train a few line infantries. But it's far weaker than Russia, far weaker than Sweden, far weaker than Prussia, and it's probably going to lose against Austria at the start. You gotta get that in order. You also need to get your economy in order. Army is 2-star, economy also 2-star. You don't have too much money to go around. Your navy is a solid 1-star. You're landlocked. Duh. And your diplomatic situation is... I'd actually rate it a 3-star. I mean, you could argue 1-star or 2-star. I'd say 3-star. You've got an alliance with Russia. And it's possible to ally with Austria. But you also have 3 big powers that are likely to go after you as well. So you could argue for it to only be even a 1-star. Poland, overall, very hard, I'd say. You could argue it's hard, but I think it's very hard. Then again, there's nothing that's particularly hard in Empire because exploits, glitches, and a bad AI, but still, very hard. Ottoman Empire? I would rate this as a very hard. You could argue it's a hard. That's possible as well. But I'd say it's very hard. I mean, you're big, but you're also exposed. There's nothing in the Arabian Desert, lucky for you. The Barbary states, they get destroyed. At least you're not at war with who they're at war with. Crimean Khanate, they get destroyed. Diplomatic situation, solid 2 stars. Why is it not 1 star? Well, at the start, Austria generally won't immediately declare war on you. You're already at war with Russia, but you can deal with that. Georgia is probably going to declare war on you. You can ally with Persia, but you at least have this here safe, this here safe for now, this here safe for now. That Poland has their own problems, but you still have plenty of problems, so it's still only 2 stars. Army, 3 stars. It's not the best. I mean, some of these can be used well if you use them correctly. Well, not armed citizenry or the equivalent, but some of these are interesting. Big cannons. But overall, it's lacking compared to regular European troops. Navy, 2 stars. Your navy is not that good. You have way more galleys. You do have a Dehouse, but it's gonna take... You can't go through here. You do have a That's not looking like that much of a good navy, I gotta be honest. Even worse, your galleys and light galleys as the Ottomans, even though that's what they use, they're actually more expensive than what they normally are. So, if that makes you feel better about playing the Ottomans, I got you. Economy. Not doing that good. Uh, not that's an average amount of money, but you have to upgrade. You have so many things you want to upgrade. So many units you want to buy to do all your expansive borders. So your economy is only actually, in effect, a 2. That's why that's very hard. Russia. Easy campaign. It's easy. There are some possible challenges, but your army, first of all, I'd rate it 4 stars. It's pretty strong at the beginning. It's not too strong, but it's strong enough. You can train it. Your navy, non-existent. 1 star. Army would be a 3 star. Navy is non-existent, although that's probably because you're technically considered landlocked. I mean, you're not, but you basically are because you don't have any ports. You have this much sea and you don't have a single port, but still, yeah. That happens. Economy, good 4 stars. Pretty good economy. You've got furs. Those are actually quite cheap, but they're still good. You've got a decent economy. Good economy, even. Diplomatic situation. 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so Sweden. You can take over Sweden. Sweden might put up some resistance, but it's not too hard to overcome Sweden. Ottomans. They are so weak. You can easily take out the Ottomans. They're so weak at the beginning. You will also have to go against Chechnya Dagestan. That's not too bad. You even have allies in the form of Poland. You can betray them by attacking Courland later. You can just become very strong because your diplomatic situation is so good. Sweden. Okay, Sweden. I'd actually rate Sweden a medium. You could rate them hard, but I would rate them medium. You've got a quite decent army. It's not actually that strong, but it's much stronger than Norway or Denmark, than anything Denmark can come up with. And they're going to be your first target for conquest. Army is a 3 star, but then again, it's still good enough. Navy is also a good 3 stars. Denmark actually has a similarly strong navy, but you can overcome it. You've got a much better navy than Prussia, Poland, and Russia, although they don't even have navies, so that's kind of a mute point, but 3 star navy. Economy, quite decent. Not that good, but I'd rate it as well a 4 star economy. You could argue for 3 star economy. That'd make complete sense as well. But you do have furs. You have quite rich province, Sweden. St. Petersburg is also major. These 2 are less good. But that doesn't mean your economy is bad. Diplomatic situation. You could really argue for it to be a 1 star. You've got so many enemies. Poland, Prussia, Russia, Denmark, Hanover isn't friendly either. Ottomans could be friendly, and they're actually decently friendly, but they're angry with the Austrians. You could ally with the UK or France, but they're quite decently far, actually. But why do I think it's not a 1-star starting or diplomatic situation? Well, if I were to go and say declare war on Denmark immediately, allies, okay, I gotta fight Poland, Lithuania, and Russia. Never mind, I don't have to even fight Poland, Lithuania. Russia, you can hold out Russia at bay. You have... Ouch. You have good enough forces to hold off Russia. Sometimes I've seen Russia doesn't even sometimes get involved in the war against Denmark. Poland didn't get involved, as you saw there. So it's not as bad as you might think it is. Maratha Confederacy. Easy starting position. Army. Okay, Army. 4 stars. It's very bad compared in quality compared to Europeans. Bargears are actually better than or equivalent to line infantries before they get fired by rank. They don't get fired by rank even though they're heavily influenced by European military thinking. Fun. But your armies, all they have to do is take care of the Mughals. That's a pretty potato army. Islamic swordsmen are the only threat here. Islamic swordsmen are the only threat. There's cannons, but they can't move and they're in a fort. Chizli Bashi here. I said that wrong. They're decent, but in numbers especially. You can do this. Take these guys out.
Your Majesty.
You can go here. Take these guys out.
Yes,
Take these guys out. Boom. 2 provinces. Or 2 regions. Straight up. These guys, you can also hold at bay. 1-star generals, bodyguard. Mughal Empire is complete potato. That's why your army's 4 stars. Your navy. It's 2 stars. You can train a pretty good, brig-based navy. Because there's a lot of trade ports, but it's also kind of a struggle in some aspects because you don't have a shipyard. Economy. This is an interesting thought. You could argue literally any level of economy. You could argue that if you don't have the economy to get enough, you don't have a good enough economy to take out the Mughals, to just roll over them and get the armies to immediately roll over them. You could argue that you do have the economy to do that. You could argue that your economy is very good because you're in India and you have so many trade resources. You could argue that if you take over all of India, your economy is still good because the Mughal Empire loses like 1 million town wealth every turn, so half of these places will not even have any town wealth when you take them. I think it's a 3. I go straight down the middle. Yeah, if you sometimes you might try and have too many armies and can't maintain all of them. You are in India, so I think it balances out to about a 3. You could argue it's a 4. That's also reasonable for me. Why is the Maratha Confederacy easy? Well, army is good, navy is good enough to take care of the Mughals. Economy is good enough. Diplomatic situation. You have potential allies, the Europeans might ally with you, but really diplomatic situation is just the Mughals that cannot put together an army. The main thing you're gonna have to worry about is a few starting armies. And the Mughals sending out 1 unit of armed citizenry, and that goes raiding. That's quite annoying, but that's all you're gonna have to worry about. And lucky for you, this army of Cav that's perfectly suited to take out those literally one armed citizenry raiding groups. Mysore ain't a problem. Europeans won't show up. You can actually take over the entire Mughal Empire in 15 turns. 15 turns is all it takes to take over the entire Mughal Empire. So, by then, you can consolidate and beat back any Europeans. Portuguese, not gonna have to worry about them. Mysore's gonna take out the Portuguese. You don't have to worry about Mysore. You're probably gonna actually take over Mysore. Definitely. Well, you have to. Dutch, sometimes they'll just turn into rebels because they lose Amsterdam to the French. So there's a chance you don't have to worry about that. But you can just, main thing, you can just roll over the Mughals and they will, you can just roll over them. Just do it. Then you're very scary because you own like half of India. You can take over these three. You own all of India. You're gonna be extremely scary and extremely powerful. That's why that's easy. On to the Warpath campaign. We'll start with the Iroquois army, 1 star. Native armies are bad. Navy, 0 stars. Natives can't even have a navy. You know, you can see where this is going. Iroquois Confederacy in particular, very hard. Economy, also not that good. Diplomatic situation, yeah, you're allied to the British. They'll just back out if they will often just break that and declare war on you anyways. You're even worse because you have to deal with the Huron Wyandotte. Your 1 star economy doesn't help either. You're at war. Diplomatic situation is 1 star. Army is 1 star. Navy is 0 stars. Economy is 1 star. You can see where this is going. Very hard. Huron Wyandotte. It's marginally better than the Iroquois. That's the best I can say. Army 1 star, Navy 0 star, once again. Economy is 1 star. Maybe 2 stars if you build everything. Diplomatic situation. Actually, 2 stars. Wow. What an improvement, okay? You can take over the Ohio Territory. You might race America to take over these, although they'll declare war on you, and things go downhill after there. Your friendly friends, the French, are not doing so hot in America. The Plains Nations, you can. They might not come after you. Spain, you might have to fight. They're probably not gonna have to fight the Cherokee either. But it's marginally better. Because you still probably are gonna have to fight Spain and gonna have to fight the United States at some point. And Britain. Don't forget Britain. Plains Nations. I'd rate it a hard. Not very hard, surprisingly. Army, 1 star. Navy, 0 stars. Economy, 2 stars. Okay, you have a few trappers, and you have relatively safe location, which does help your economy in some ways. And diplomatic situation is a solid 2 stars. Ally with the Pueblo nations, they're gonna die anyway, so you don't have to worry about betraying them. Ally with the Huron Wyandotte if you want, that's an option. They might die eventually, or you might have to betray them. British, you can also ally with them. It's unlikely that they'll march from here to here or there, you know. Spain is your main problem, but there's the fact that I only have 1 problem at the start is a great improvement. Pueblo nations, hard, not very hard. Your army, it's better than a 1 star army. It's better than any other army.
At the ready.
At the start, I would give you 2 stars on it. Not because it's actually a 2-star army, but because it's better than a 1-star.
Orders.
You can take out New Mexico easily, and you can defend against these guys. You can take...
Yes.
This army is the reason why you're not... It's an actual half... okay-ish army. And it's on the ready to take out this one single place. Actually, that one single place also is Spain's capital. For some reason, it's over here. You can also defend. Eventually, you'll take Texas as well. Your navy, still a solid 0 stars. Economy, 1 star. You might be subject to raids from the Spanish. Diplomatic situation, 2 stars. Okay, 2 stars. What do I mean by that? Well, Pueblo, not a problem. Cherokee, not a problem. Spain, 0 problem. You can actually take over one. Be decently powerful. Cherokee nations. Solid, hard, very hard, very, very hard, difficult, extremely very difficult. Okay, Spain. Several armies, dotted about, have fun. United States, gonna come after you too. Iroquois, you're technically at war with them. They probably won't come after you, but that still doesn't help because they're not helping you. I mean, they might help you indirectly, but they're also at war with you. Diplomatic situation, 1 star. Army, another 1 star. Navy, a 0 star. Economy, another 1 star. The economy is possibly the best of all the natives, besides the Plains nations, but it's still not doing so good. It's still not doing that good. So, fun. Natives.